Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Claire. How are you?
Say hello then. Yeah, good, thank you. I've got a great word for you, and I'm really shocked that we haven't covered this word before. Relationships.
Hmm. Well, the word kind of says it all, doesn't it? It's like how we relate, not just to people, but to things, to entities, to anything. Yeah, I'll first go with like relationships with people because we can make it really complicated. We can make it well, we can make it any there's this huge spectrum of all the different relationships that we may have in our life, and some can be really easy and comfortable, and we feel like ourselves, and then another can be where we're watching our p's and q's, we're walking on eggshells. There can be all kinds of experiences that we, you know, feel dependent on, I kind of see it from different angles. From the, it's always from a place of like how we work, you know, with the three principles understanding of that we experience what we think, the meaning that we make about something. It's like we're never, we might say that we're in a relationship with, like, that you and I are in a relationship together, but it's not just you and me, like, clear. It's our thoughts about each other. I'm in relationship to my own thinking about you, to my thoughts about you, which is like how I feel about you. It's how we connect. It's how, and I couldn't do a podcast with just anyone, because there's a way that our energy works together. I did a lot of study around human design, and it gave me mm, like an image of how our energy works together. And we're chemistry. We're all chemical reactions happening. With every thought, there's a chemical reaction that happens in our body, and it causes us to feel things. When we come together, our energy is one way with each other. If there's someone else present, the three of us or four of us, however many, we create a different energy together, and we relate differently. I recently spent 5 days with two childhood girlfriends. And when each of us are on our own, we have a relationship that kind of works in a certain way. When the three of us came together, there was a different dynamic. So it's kind of interesting. There's that sort of sciencey part that I kind of like um, to consider. And it's like, okay, we just worked differently when the three of us were together. And when we're alone, it's different. But the bottom line is, what are we thinking? What meaning are we making? Because we're always looking at the other through a filter, and our filter is thought. So what is, and if you're in a relationship, a close relationship, you and Bruce, Rob and I are in a close relationship, and throughout the day I can feel different things with him, right? From
Mm.
first thing in the morning to, like, every time we have an interaction, I have an experience of relating to him. Sometimes it might be like, oh, it's just so fun, or it's so easy, or it's like, ooh, this is interesting, or, that's annoying to me, or whatever. When we are aware of how impactful our thoughts are on our experience with of the other, we can, it like, how do I say? When we're aware of that, we can maybe not take things so seriously. Or what I find is, since coming across the principles all these years ago, is that I'm able to get, if there's something that I'm not appreciating about anyone, but let's keep with raw. If there's something I'm not appreciating, that I'm annoying, whatever, I can get over it really quickly, where I'm not hanging on to it, because it's just a moment where I'm experiencing something. And maybe there's something to do about it, or maybe it's just that I'm kind of in an icky mood already. So it may not matter what he does, I'm going to be annoyed. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you're aware of this, this underlying way of how the mind works, how life works, what we're experiencing, it really allows us to have a lot more compassion, I find, in relationships, and create a lot more going with the flow, like riding the waves of, this is great, this is not so great, I'm kind of annoyed, pissing me off. Oh, however it goes. So, yeah, relationships. We're not really in relationship with the other. We're always in relationship with our thoughts about the other. So it's fun. It creates like a fun dynamic when you care to like test it out and see how it's true, and you can laugh about it because it's just kind of nuts sometimes. The emotional roller coasters that we go on in relating to people or anything. Could be other drivers on the road, or, yeah. Yeah, the fun's good. Tell me, what you see about relationships.
Well, they're a massive part of our lives, aren't they?
Mm.
Just everything, really. Even if you just take the relationships with other people, that's massive. But then, like you said at the beginning, you're not just in a relationship with other people. You're in a relationship with, I'm in a relationship with my laptop. Like not thinking about my laptop creates my reality or whatever, and it's all thought created. And the separate realities thing that we talk about in the three principles, realizing that there's 8 billion completely unique realities in the world. Excuse me. And that none of them are right. And that is huge for me, because I do have a propensity to like to be right, and that my truth is the truth. Therefore, thou should obey. It's definitely a state of mind I can kind of get into really easily. But I think what I've seen about it over the last few years is seeing it brings more peace to me. Seeing the separate realities, seeing that everybody believes their thinking and I believe mine, and there's the sort of, just seeing that has brought a lot of peace, and I guess allowed me to just put things down more quickly, like you said. However, not always. I can still lose my mind over certain things sometimes, and there's still one person in my life who I can still lose my mind over on a regular basis. And something that I think is cool to say here about when it seems other people are not behaving in a pleasant way, let's say, in a kind way. They seem to be sending things our way that are not very nice. What we're not saying here is well, just let them do that and let them walk all over you and don't do anything about it. We're not saying that. But I think when we're calmer in that relationship, when we take a breath, we pause, we look after ourselves internally so we feel okay, what there is to be said ends up being less, I find. And if I'm stirred up, I've got an essay to deliver to that person. In fact, it's probably War and Peace. It's going to take about 3 hours. It's going to be message, and it's going to be keyboard hammering. There may well be a boundary. There may well be something to say to that person. Sometimes there isn't. Sometimes once you're calm, you kind of go, oh, whatever, they're doing their thing. I don't even need to do anything about that. But sometimes there are boundaries to be delivered, to be shared with somebody. And I had an incident happen recently with this particular person who I struggle to not get wound up about. Got very wound up about something they'd done. Then found myself not able to sleep for a couple of nights, like thinking about it too much. And then one morning I woke up and I thought, I found this lovely meditation. It's about 30 minutes long. I got really, really relaxed and really calm. And at the end of the meditation, I sort of sat up and I knew the message to this person just was very clear and very calm. And interestingly, appears to have stopped that behavior happening without saying stop doing, without saying I just went, this is how we will, Miss Bruce and I will be responding to this from now on. And so you can carry on doing it if you like, but it's going to get a 0 back. So we kind of set out some very clear, only like 4 very short points on the email. But it does seem to have poured oil on the water, because those boundaries delivered from a calm place have a completely different impact than when we rant them at somebody or shout them at somebody or write very, very long angry messages at somebody. And so always we're going to connect to people differently when we're calm. Our relationships are going to be better. And that becomes then for me sort of a self-care thing, really, almost like compassion being part of the whole relationship thing. That when we see the other person doing the best they can, when we settle down, when we become more calm, that's actually really good for us. Because I don't know about you, but I've got quite stressed out in the past about people's ridiculous behaviour. People that I've been in a relationship with behaved. I spent most of the 20 years I was with my ex-husband trying to change him. Trying to make him be different, because it really looked like if he was different, I would have a nicer life. And that's that outside in trap, isn't it? Where we want to change somebody. And I see now that I can be okay despite other people doing the thing they're doing that I think's wrong or shouldn't be happening or whatever. And that seems a lot kinder to myself. I mean, it's kinder to the other person, but it's actually a lot kinder to me as well. And let's look after ourselves better. We're not looking after ourselves if we're stirred up about what somebody else is up to.
Yeah. I love the point to kindness, because it absolutely is. It's kinder to yourself. It's kinder to really the energy, considering that we're kind of all one energy coming from the same source, all interacting. It's just a kindness to the community of life when we can all come to it with a calmer mind. And what does that mean, really? It means you're able to hear your own inner guidance on things, how that came to you. And that's how it happens. I mean, it's running, it's available to us all the time. And sometimes there's maybe nothing to do. And sometimes we can clearly hear that there is something to do. And that something, if we allow it to come when it's ready, that I find that, we've spoken about urgency before, that it seems that we can feel that there's an urgency to respond now, that someone says something and you need to respond. I'm not always great about responding to texts or messages, right away. Sometimes it might take a day or longer. And I've been called out on it before. Like, why aren't you, you're leaving me unhanging or hanging or whatever they call it, unread. I don't know what the words are. There's a term for it. And it's just like, oh, I'm just kind of busy in my life and I've just not been responding. But it's like, there's this pressure that we need to respond to everything that we're given. And we do not. We do not need to. We do not need to. I remember this, I don't know why this is coming up, but it's kind of fun, so I'll share it. I used to do a lot of fundraising for the elementary school that my kids went to. And we were doing an outdoor movie night, and it was like in the foothills of Alberta. And we were doing like a widespread kind of talk. And one of the other parents she does a lot of social media for nonprofit, and her and I were working together. So I was the mouthpiece, and she was the one who would, be behind too. I would ask her questions, and she often, not often, but at times, it's like she never gave me a direct answer. And this happened a few times, and I said, I noticed something, that you don't necessarily answer my question. It's like you kind of skirt around it, but it almost felt like I was given an answer, but I wasn't. And it's just like, wow. And she said, kind of raised her. It's like, yeah, we don't have to respond to everything. And sometimes the non-response is just way more helpful. My question, I got the answers. I knew the answers. I actually didn't need her to tell me things, but it was just, I don't know, just a master of allowing the communication to come from, how do I say, this is kind of feeling a little more esoteric or meta, but it's like we're always communicating with ourselves.
Mm.
And sometimes a gift to ourselves and another is to not engage another with the communication to ourselves that's going on in our head, especially when it's all muddled up, that we're sticking in other things in our thought process that don't belong in this conversation and actually has nothing to do with it. So it can be so easy, and we can so easily really complicate it as well. So yes, this idea of it being a kindness, this idea that it's really taking personal responsibility for ourselves and what we're putting out into the world, not just in there, because before it comes out of us, we're in it, and then we put it out there and try to get others to engage with our craziness.
Yeah, and there's a felt sense to that, isn't there? That's the key, really, is realising that when we feel emotionally discombobulated, that we think that we might resolve that by splurging that out of the other person. But actually, that feeling in our bodies, the tension, the tightness, the stress in our bodies, is just saying, actually, pause, take a breath, look after your insides, not the world out there. The world out there doesn't need you to vomit your it's a bit like, I'm just thinking, it's a bit like if you were poorly with a stomach upset and you feel that kind of in your stomach, like you want to keep away from other people because you might like and it's a bit like that, isn't it? Like,
that's a really good analogy.
Bubble up inside your body, you probably feel that in your stomach and all over the place. Well, you're off. Go look after yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you've got to go and like live in a cave or something. It just means you need to just probably take a breath and give yourself a minute. That's all. It doesn't need a big long process or anything. And all of us will sometimes catch that and sometimes not. Sometimes we'll vomit forth. Another time, we need to kindness again. Be kind to ourselves when we do vomit forth.
Yes.
Realise that we moment we just didn't see it. We saw something different. It looked like it was going to happen.
Yeah. Really good word. Yeah.
can't believe I was shocked when I looked on my book. I've actually done that word, because that is when it's actually in it's on the actual thing that we use on YouTube, the little thing.
Description.
It's relationships, and we haven't talked about relationships. So now we have. Marvelous.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was really lovely. I will see you.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
Yes, you will. Ciao.